And then he said like, who hired you? And I said, the boss. And he said, okay, but if I was there, I would not have hired you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Educative Sessions, a podcast series with people in the developer world about their coding experiences. This is brought to you by Educative, which makes it easy for authors to provide interactive and adaptive courses for software developers. My name is Lee Ngo. Today, my guest is Gaurav Makhecha. Sorry, I'm so sorry. You're going to have to help me with that pronunciation. Who is the founder of FreshBits. And today we're going to talk about his story of being, I'm going to say, set up for failure, perhaps on the first day. Gaurav, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And very nice to be here.
One more time. I'm so sorry. How do I pronounce your last name, or at least to the best of my
That's
ability?
that's Gaurav Makhecha.
Makhecha. So
Yeah,
sorry. So sorry about that.
that's
All right.
fine.
Let's move right along. So, you know, we were talking about possible things we wanted to talk about. Of course, you're a founder, you're a developer, got a lot of things going on. But I found this story of how when you started at a company once, the person that was your lead developer told you this, saying, if I was present that day you were being interviewed, I would not have hired you. Like,
Yeah.
what was going on there?
Well, so I would say, fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, that person who was the team lead, taking care of all the projects of that company, a small company, I would say 8 to 10 people, was not present, and the boss, the main boss, who was owns the company, he found my communication skills good. Also, I had, I guess, good theoretical skills of PHP, the language for which I applied for the job,
Mm-hmm.
and he just immediately said that, okay, you're hired and you can come from tomorrow. And the next day I go there, the team lead is there, and he asked me some questions, more on practical side of things which I was not sure about. And then he said like, who hired you? And I said, the boss. And he said, okay, but if I was there, I would not have hired you.
Wow.
But overall, it was, I mean, he was a good guy, and he, after that, he accepted the fact, and he also taught me well. The other guy was also there with me, just kind of a fresher. We both were freshers,
Mm-hmm.
and we taught from him. That senior person, I'm in touch with him, and he's a great guy. We learned a lot of things from him.
Mm-hmm. So just to be clear, what was the issue? Was it because you didn't know enough of a certain language, or was it a personality thing? Would he? I mean, that's a pretty bold thing to say, and not a very morally boosting thing to say, right? Like, why would he say that?
Yeah. Yes, I was stunned for a while. It was mainly about the technical know-how, I would say,
Okay.
knowledge of the practical things. All I did was a 2 months course on the language, on PHP. So before that, I was into Oracle database and all that stuff. So that's why I did not know about many of the things that are required for you to know when you want to work on actual real projects uh,
Gotcha.
with that language.
Gotcha. All right. And yet, you ended up working for that company for over 2 years, right? Around 2.5 years.
Right.
So what did you do? I mean, first to potentially mend that relationship, but also find ways to grow and beyond that first experience. You know, and well, I'll just leave it there for now. Like, what helped you stick around in that company for so long?
Yeah. So as I said, that person was very good, and he taught us well. Our journey from there on was very nice. We learned a lot of things there which were supposed to learn outside that, but that company taught me a lot. And as I said, my communication skills were great, so I was talking with the clients, I was taking notes, and that gave me the exposure required to know how projects are done. And so on the one side, technical knowledge was also improving. On the other side, my communication skills and knowing how to manage projects were also, I was growing as that person, and the developer, and also I would say as a manager, someone who understands the projects, how they're managed and stuff. So 2.5 years went by very quickly. And as over a period of time, I realized like I would not have been at this position if I was not there, because
Hmm.
I got all types of exposure in that company. As just like we say that startups give you all types of exposure compared
Yes.
to big companies,
Hmm.
kind of like that, 10 people's team members company, and you are managing the client communication, you are managing the support, you're managing the development part as well. So it teaches you a lot. So it was a great journey. I find that to be one of the most important parts of my life.
I love that. I find that you seem to have a sense of humility and a positive reflection. Even, I mean, even for me, maybe I hold grudges more intensely than you might. But like, if someone said that to me, I'd be very much like, oh well, never. But you seem to have recovered and found a sense of maturity, and I admire that a lot. And what's interesting is that you lasted for a long time in that company, but right now you're not with the company. You are working on your own, right? So tell us
Right.
a little bit more about how that life was shaped by these kinds of experiences. And also, I think for a lot of people who enjoy our show, want to know a lot more about this way of being employed as well. So share a little bit, if you can, share a little bit more about your life as a entrepreneur and a freelancer.
It's been great. Again, it's been 7 years since I jumped into full-time freelancing.
Wow.
But while I was working at the company on the side, I started freelancing via the online freelancing websites. Not for a very specific goal. I was not very sure if I would go into full-time freelancing, but I just wanted to explore things. Some of my friends were doing it, and I just thought it would be a good experience. I would do some things on my own, not only the company, but on my own. That will teach me something. So it's gonna be something new, something fresh. And so during the night time, after coming back from the company work, I would sit down, apply for the jobs. Again, it was hard. I mean, on those freelancing sites are very competitive, so it took me some time, but I was not in a hurry. I was just exploring. So gave me a few projects, which was a very good feeling. More than money, it was about that learning, that experience, getting in touch with the people who are just on the other side of the world, just like you are now. And uh, project by project, my confidence grew. I was
Yeah.
able to talk with. I'm not a native English speaker, but
Hmm.
talking more with mostly working with uh, people from first world countries. My communication skills developed, and then I was very confident applying to more projects, learning more, and over a period of time. By the time I was like around 2.5 years with that company, I realized that okay, now I think I can confidently take go on my own, and it will be fine. I will be able to get enough freelancing projects to keep going. So, and it was again, fortunately, it was very easy one. The company was also that the boss was also okay. That no worries, you wanna go, you're fine. That's
Hmm.
okay. And uh, it's a great journey for people. I would say, I mean, for others who wish to go on that path, I would say, first of all, you should try it only if you feel like you want to do it, not because someone tells you to do it.
Hmm.
If I tell you that this journey is great and you will earn more, or maybe you will learn more or whatever, but if you don't think you wanna do it, you feel like doing it, then I do not recommend someone just jumping out of their employment and going into full-time freelancing. Try
Right.
it, see
Right.
how it goes, and if you not, it's not for everyone.
Right, right. I think,
Employment.
all right. Sorry, not to. I think you're absolutely right there. Because a lot of people, there's always grass is always greener mentalities, right?
Right,
Um,
yeah.
I know a lot of people who are employed are like, so to be a freelancer and to kind of set my own hours and what have you. And then I meet a lot of freelancers, at least in the United States, who are like, oh man, I got to do my own taxes and I got to make sure that I've got to make sure that I got to get gigs and I got to do my own marketing and everything's difficult. And I think it would be interesting if you have curiosities, explore them. But I think the bad mentality, just to add, is if you, especially in technology, if something doesn't fit, you can always try something else, right? I
Indeed.
have that sense of optimism, right? If you don't want to do freelancing anymore, go back into find a company and someone will take you, right? But if you want to, I think it is tougher to leave a company and go into freelancing. But I'm inspired by your story because you've willed yourself through speaking a language that is not primary to you, to hustling around the world, to maybe keeping weird hours. But it's been 7 years, and that's incredible to make that work for
Right.
so long, right? So we've actually come to the end of our questions, Gaurav, and I want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit more about your work with FreshBits, and really the floor is yours to share what you like.
Well, really, so these days we mostly work on the Laravel framework, which is a PHP programming language framework, and we focus on developing the backend systems. So whether it's an individual who needs to develop a system for his various work, a club or association or a company who are managing their operations on paper or something like Excel, Microsoft Excel, we just develop systems for them to be able to manage their stuff from anywhere in the world and get better at it. It starts from that, and uh, we develop very complex systems like point of sale systems or Salesforce integration and all that technical stuff. But basically, uh, our journey has been good. And as I mentioned, it's been 7 years, and uh, we have been getting constant stream of good referrals from the past clients who have been very impressed by our work. And yep, we are a small team now. I manage a group of people, and it's been all great.
That's awesome. Really, congratulations on all of the success. And I was not sure, whether you were a one-person operation, but the fact that you are running your own team and operating like a founder, in a way, creating opportunities for other people as well, is just really wonderful to hear. Gaurav, thank you so much for being on our show and really just sharing your story. Really appreciate you taking the time, especially out. You're halfway around the world for me, and it's such an honor for you to really take the time. I also want to thank everybody who's been listening or watching this session as well. You can check out more of our content on YouTube, or you can listen to it on pretty much any major podcasting platform by looking us up at Educative Sessions. And lastly, if you want to look up, really, Gaurav is an author with us on Educative. So you can check out his work and other people's work at educative.io. So for all of us here at Educative, thank you so much and happy learning. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed that session. This episode is available on YouTube and also on many podcast platforms. If you'd like to be part of Educative Sessions, the form is open now to apply via the link below. You can also email me at lee@educative.io. Lastly, don't forget to like and comment on our content. Be sure to subscribe for us as well. And of course, you can learn more about us at educative.io. Happy learning.